Okay, where I left off in the last video was trying to calculate the total cost per week. This is a little bit tricky, and so we want to calculate this in parts. One thing that I just realized that is missing here is the amount that I want to pay the kid per week, per task that is completed. So since I can't, I was trying to lay this out nicely, but since I can't, for recording purposes, show you more than 13 rows at a time, I don't want to go below that 13th row, so I'm going to smush things together a little bit here. The cost per task completed, and that's $1. And then cost per task, let's see. There's this notion that I will double my rate if the tasks are all completed well. So what I'm going to do is introduce a multiplier for per task rate if all tasks done well. Okay, so I'm introducing a multiplier. What that means is I will multiply the hourly or the per task rate by 2, whatever I put in here, if all the tasks are done in a week and they're done well. So that's showing up as a dollar, and I don't mean to do that. So I'm going to go to format cells, turn it to a number with no decimal places. Okay, now I do want to make sure that some things in here are numbers. This is a number. And so will our total cost calculation be a number. So format cells, turn that into currency, 2 decimal points and a dollar symbol. Okay, so now I'm not going to pay him for all the tasks he could do. Where we had left this actually was I changed this number to a 6. Okay, so in this case, with these values put in, the kid can do six tasks on a typical weekday, 7 on this weekday, 7 on the weekend, for a total of 13. But I actually don't have 13 tasks for him. I only have, in this case, 12. So I'm not going to pay him for the number of tasks he could do. I want to pay him for the number of tasks he does, 12. But say this number wasn't 6. Say it was only 2. This can be anywhere between 1 and 6. Remember. So now he's got 9 tasks that he gets done. I want to pay him for those 9 tasks. I don't want to pay him for 12. So the first thing I want to do is I want to figure out how many tasks he actually does. And the best way to do that is to use the min function. The min of either the number of tasks that I have for him to do or the number of tasks that he actually does. The sum of the tasks on the weekday and the weekend. Okay? And then remember that we want to multiply that by, let's just keep this simple to start, $1 per task that's actually completed. We'll just start with that bit of it. So notice here he did 9 tasks and he got paid $9. But if instead he got 6 tasks done, he could get 6 tasks done in this week on the weekday. Notice I'm only paying him, because I use that min function, for 12, because though he could have gotten 13 done, I only had 12 tasks for him, so I want to pay him for those 12 tasks. So that's the first part of our cost equation, but that's not everything. There's a couple more bits, so let's add these one piece at a time and test them as we go. So the next thing is that if he doesn't get all tasks done, then I want to charge him for the I want to assess a cost for myself. I'm not going to charge him. I want to assess a cost for myself. The cost of my embarrassment, being embarrassed because my yard's a mess for a week. And again, remember, this is a simplifying assumption that I'm going to assume that I'm only going, anything that's undone is only going to be undone for 1 week. We could test that later on. But the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to say, okay, how many tasks are there that are undone? That's this cell C5, so I'll reference it. And I'm going to multiply that by the cost that I want to assess myself of a task not being done. That's in cell C6. Okay, so I'll hit enter. Let's see if that worked. Let's test it. Again, I strongly encourage you when you're creating a formula in Excel and it's complicated to build it up bit by bit. All right, so in this case, the kid got all the tasks done, so the cost is just the cost of the tasks that I have, 12, not the 13 he could do, and no cost for tasks that are not done because there are no tasks that were not done. But if instead there were 2 tasks that he could do on that weekday, there were 9 tasks then that he could get done, leaving 3 tasks undone. So that means that my cost is $12. And if I wanted to change this, I said, okay, I'm going to change my assumption here. I'm going to say that there's no cost for this. If I just put in 0, it goes back down to the $9. So I'm testing to make sure that my model works. Okay, let's take it back up to the $1 from the problem.